Traders, welcome back to another yearly recap. Guys, what a year it has been. 2022 coming to an end. It had its ups and downs. There were moments where things were a little crazy uh, for both good and bad reasons. Very interesting year. But we're coming out on top. We're coming out victorious. We're making good progress. And next year is looking so bright. 2023 is looking better than any other year has ever looked. And so we're on this road to greatness. And 2022, another chapter, another step in the right direction. The year for me started off pretty slow. January and February, flat. Didn't see much gains at all, But then coming into March, things started picking up for me. And it wasn't before long that I ran into some personal issues. This day here, this 19th, is a day I'll never forget. Things will happen outside of trading that will then ultimately affect our trading. And so, this was one of those months where something happened for me. And so, we always talk about staying strong mentally, pushing through, plowing away. And so, staying strong mentally, things will happen in this world that, are out of our control, but we just have to keep pushing. April comes along, we're stepping it up. We're still going. May, look at May. What a beautiful month in terms of just consistency. Only 3 red days. If every month can be like this, this is beautiful. Absolutely lovely. June, another month for me where I had to deal with a lot of personal things. July, August, the best month of the year. And this month was so good. Some of these red days were actually by choice. Up very green and decided to take on an immense amount of risk, but understanding if the trades don't work out, where I might end up landing on the day. And so this month was an incredible month. September, October, pretty decent. November, we start heating up again towards the end. And then December, actually, I would say maybe pretty close to August in terms of how hot it was. Now, I did not do well in this December month, and there hasn't really been a recap for December. Maybe I do a separate video outside of this yearly recap, maybe focusing on December and some of the issues I had in this month. But I think this month was pretty hot. You needed to be dialed in. There's a very fine line between being green and being red. And I think my approach was just too aggressive, actually. August was a very volatile month. And one of the things I did pretty good, I told myself coming in every day, survive the first couple of minutes. Longevity. These were things that I was telling myself, and I had them all written down on a bunch of note cards. So many of these note sticky pads, came. Can you guys see these? Yeah, they came from, December month. Hey, start off slow, take it easy, reduce size on the dips, protect the profits. Once you make a certain amount of profits, reduce size, try not to give back, add another cushion before increasing size. A lot of small key things. This month I tried to go aggressive, tried to trade freely. It did not quite work out. We had our biggest drawdown coming in to the end of the year. Not good. And we'll talk more about that as we go through the metrics. So the final tally will be 58 to 54.41. A step up from last year's P&L. And also keep in mind, we're trading about 1 to 2 hours a day. And so, this is not bad. This is not bad. We talk about multiple streams of income is something that we mentioned throughout the year. And I've had videos out talking about trading and working a full-time job, trading and being a full-time student. And so, I want to continue to remind the people that once you get to the other side, right, trading, we know, is not guaranteed. Not everyone can make it, but once you do put in that work, you're consistent, you're disciplined, and you can make it to the other side. It can be such a beautiful thing for the individuals, because it can mean whether you want to choose to live off of trading full time, all right? Whether you want to use your trading gains at the end of the year for investment reasons, retirement, savings. Maybe it can mean paying off the house, paying off the mortgage, paying off a car. Maybe it's a brand new car. Maybe you give someone something pretty special, right? Vacations. And so the power of trading is still very alive and well. And, the world needs to know that day trading is still here. And day trading, despite this year being weaker, people are still improving, right? People who are actively trying are still improving despite a weaker market. And this is definitely a testament here in the Relentless trading community. We had so many traders who improved from where they were last year, mentally, emotionally, P&L wise as well, right? So I'm definitely proud that we stepped it up versus last year. Last year being a much hotter market, and it shows, experience. You're becoming more confident, more comfortable. You're understanding more of who you are and what your style of trade is and what it means. And so, that's something I'm definitely proud of. But there's still a lot more things to work on. So average volume, right? Average daily gain 237.77. Average daily volume 121.743. It's about 120,000 shares per day. Average winning trade 42. Average losing trade 35. Our winning trades percentage 50, almost 51. Not bad. Number of losing trades 47%. Scratch trades 1.3%. Max consecutive wins 13. Max consecutive losses 12. Largest gain 882. Largest loss clocking in at 1,000. And this is a metric I don't like. I usually try to have that 2-to-1 as best as I can. Also right here, can we be, if not quite 2-to-1, can we have a little bit more separation here? If our average losses are 35, we need to be at least 55 here. 55, 50 minimum. So these are things we are going to try and work on. And a lot of it has to just do with discipline, man. Like sticking to what work well and excelling at that. And not changing too much and altering too much. And it's delicate because we try to push ourselves out of our comfort zone to become better. But it's like you always got to try to be so careful in the approach you take to improve. Because a lot of the times things do backfire. And I guess it's part of the process, right? You can't really beat yourself up too much for trying. So, for all of us out there, we got to continue to push forward, continue to try, and, understand that the work we're putting in now will definitely show a lot more later on down the road. But yeah, we had a huge loss. I think this might have been in August or either September or December rather, this month. Either or, I had two pretty big losses, $1,000 losses or close to it. In December and in August. So average hold time winning trade, half a minute. Average hold time losing trade 20 seconds. And guys, let's come over to we'll come back over here. Let's come over to day and time and look at some of the other metrics here. So on Mondays we did 16,000, Mondays being our best days. Tuesday at 10. Wednesday 11. Thursday slacking off, man. Thursday should have at least been around 9, 10. Thursday at 67. And what this can also mean is that I might have took some bigger red days on Thursdays. Friday at almost 12, right? Almost 12. So pretty decent there. Time of day, of course, the first hour is where I'm usually doing the best. And we did trade in August. August did a lot of these gains here. August we stuck around a lot. Power hour coming in right behind 11 a.m. But we did see some gains throughout the rest of the months, which is pretty good. As mentioned, January and February flat. March is where we started picking it up. We had our peak in the summer months. August and September, we did have a much slower market. We were consistent for the most part, but we were not seeing a lot of bigger green days. October, we stepped it up. October, we had a really great month buying dips. That last week of October was really in fact, the entirety of October gains came in the last week. We did about 7,000 in that week, which was pretty good. And that's what we need to get into those strides and sustain them. 7,000 a week is about 350 grand, So getting into those strides and staying in them, the months will then equal out to, $28,000 months or so. And they're more than doable, man. I mean, it's so much encouragement. We'll talk more about the Discord later, but it's so inspiring and so encouraging. Not everyone is willing to share for obvious reasons. Some people prefer to keep it private. It's a personal thing for them. And it's okay. That's completely fine. We get it. Some people love the privacy. They don't need the world to know whether they're making or losing anything on any given day. And we respect that. But there are a few people who are sharing, and man, is it encouraging. It is motivating. I always tell the guys, I tell the traders, right, the guys and the gals, I tell the traders to utilize it as positive energy, right? You cannot look at it and start comparing yourself to someone else and say, man, I'm falling behind, man, I should have done this differently, I should have done that on this day, I should have took that trade that person took. No, that's not the way how we utilize it. If you do that, you start to get into a negative kind of approach. It's all about motivation and encouragement. And it lets you know what can be done if you continue to work on being your best self, the best version of you. What does the best version of you look like? And for me, that's what it's all about. Trying to be my best self. And I always have that long outlook, in 2 years, in 5 years. 5 years ago, like let's talk about 5 years ago. I mean, 5 years ago, I was wishing I could be where I am now. So, the journey and the road is different for each of us. We're all unique. We can't expect someone else's journey and path to be our path. No. If you do it that way, you start to lose. So you have to use the Discord in that positive way, right? And like I'm telling you guys, man, for me, it's so encouraging and inspiring. It keeps me motivated. It lets me know what is out there and what could potentially be done as I continue to work on myself. And so, in another year, another 2 years, in 5 years, where will we be? I mean, that version of ourselves will be so much better because every day we're putting in the work to actively progress. But yeah, let's continue to go through some of the metrics here. We have price and volume. Price and volume, we did our best between $2 and $5, closely followed by 5 and 10, and then 10 and 20. I think this year will do much better in these ranges. The higher price stocks are usually giving more, or let's say, I think a lot of times people have the ability to make more in the higher price stocks due to the range, right? Yes, there's a risk. Yes, it's volatile, but a lot of the times, man, once you're connecting on these trades, even with some smaller sizes, sometimes it's really incredible what these stocks are doing. On the cheaper price ranges, I think we had a lot more stocks in this range this year. I would want to say, could be wrong, but the range of 2 to 5 is always nice. A lot of the times there's a lot of let's say limited downside risk because they're not as volatile. That's so there's pros and cons between the different price ranges for sure. Below $2, we didn't see too much of that, but yeah. And I guess we did, but I opted not to trade stocks below $1 this year. A lot of times it's just competition, right? Preference. If there's a stock at $5 that's up 50%, and there's a stock at 50 cents that's up 50%, I'll choose the one at $5. It just all depends. So moving on. Our best performing stocks and worst performing stocks. AERC, and this is a metric I do want you guys to pay attention to here. Look at our biggest winning stock versus our biggest losing stock. It's a huge difference. And I remember this one here. It could have been avoided, man. EIGR could have been avoided. You know, we took some bigger red trades. We even had tried to go short. It squeezed us out and then flushed down. PXMD, a stock I should have been green on. Some of these names will be for you guys on the other side, and it'll be over here. Some of your best performing stocks. PIK, which was pretty strong, but I managed to botch all the trades. ISEE, SONN, PHVS, JAN, which was pretty incredibly strong. SMMT. So, you know, all these stocks were really and truly PACB were hot stocks that I botched miserably, you know. But on the other hand, we do have some better ones here. XPV, ILAG, PLRX, QNGY, VERU, and VERU we should have definitely done better on, because this stock, VERU, has been maybe, I don't know if I want to be this bold to say this, but it might be one of the strongest stocks we had in the last year and a half, in terms of the amount of times that they had breaking news and it was in play, and it might be the number one stock for some of you guys, you know, unless you really did well on those parabolic 1-day movers that would go from like 5 to 30, 5 to 20. But VERU was pretty consistent in popping up on the scans every few weeks, few months, and giving opportunity. So we should have done a little bit better there. But yeah, FNGR, and even last year this one was in play, right? FNGR, INDO, PEGY, GOVX, and so forth. Market behavior. This I don't really pay too much attention to, but it is something that some of you guys like. And relative to the SPY, when the SPY is down more than 2%, which is a little bit more on the rare side of things, well, I guess it depends. But we're green. We're green all across the board here. When the SPY is up over 2%, we're also green 10 grand there. Between 1 and 2%, 11,000. And the SPY is usually between this range here. I would say between these two. I don't know. But it seems like we did the best between 0 and -1%, which is interesting. I'm not sure if there's an actual correlation there, or if I just managed to do better on those days by chance. But I would like to think that I would have done the best between these two ranges here, because, you know, that's where the SPY usually is. But, you know, win-loss expectation. This is one I want to talk a lot about here. Guys, and I want to compare this metric to last year's metric, right? And I want to show you guys why we will do better in 2023. We will do better, right? So if I would have told you guys, hey, I'm going to make $250,000 in 2022, would you have believed me, right? I did. I made $258,000 this year. And, you know, they say the great traders make more than they lose. And I did that, but not to the level that I would have wanted to. I did the math, and I only retained about 23% of my gains, which is absolutely terrible, right? I'll be the first to say that it's absolutely terrible. Some of it, I'd say 50% of it is part of the strategy. There will be days, there will be stocks where we might end up, let's say, 2K, but along the way, we were green 800, and then we dropped down to 200, and then we were green 6, green 1K, green 15, and then we dropped to 11, and then we were green 15, dropped to 11 again, green 15, green 18, dropped to 15, and then another good trade putting us at 2K. And along the way, it's like we made 2K, but we probably lost like 2K, you know? And so some of it, 50% I would say, is part of the strategy. So we're never going to be able to make 258 and keep 258. Is impossible. But I think discipline has a lot to do with the other half, the other 50%. And this year I'm going to have to be more disciplined. I'm going to have to learn to walk away more. And these things are going to be hard to do because, you know, I have this thing about me where I like to see the momentum to the end. And, you know, as I mentioned in August month, maybe, you know, and we will, you know, getting back to some more of those rules that we had in place. Hey, once you're up a certain amount, reduce size. Build another cushion before increasing size. if you give back more than half, size down. All these simple things that will help us to ultimately retain more of the earnings. And my goal next year, I mentioned in Discord, is to do 500,000. Relentless trader, why do you want why do you think you can do 500,000? Why do you want to do 500,000 on this side of the metric? It's because, guys, this year, look at our volume. We traded 120,000 shares, and we can trade way more volume than that. And so, the goal will be to increase our efficiency with bigger size, right? And so we have to continue to work on being comfortable in the trades with size. When we size down towards the end of this month here in December, as we size back up, that's one of the things we're working on. Hey, approach the trades the same way. Do not hesitate. Do not be as concerned, right? That's one of the issues I had when I was trying to use size, right? And I pushed myself to try to be uncomfortable until I could become comfortable, right? But it's still a challenge for me. So the key is, I had days where I would say, man, I saw about 30 entries, but I only took 5 of them because of the size. No, I need to take the same 30 entries. I need to take those same 30 entries I would have took if my share size was a little less. And it will show. It will show. The difference will be there on those days. We will see the difference in and after, between everything, beginning, middle, end. We'll see the difference. So just being firm, just being confident, and I think we can push this to 500. And can we retain about 38 to 45, 50% of the gains? Can we retain about 50% of the gains, 38% of the gains? If we do the math here, right? My computer's on full screen, but actually let's hit F11, right? Let's pull up the calculator here, all right? Let's pull up the calculator. If we do 500,000 at let's say 38%, right? 38% of that would be 190. It's like these things are doable. Like, these things are doable. Let's look at this year, right? 258, right? 258 at 38%. This is just 38%. Oh, I forgot the decimal. 258 at 38%. It's 98, and it's a much better year, and that is just at 38% of the profits, guys, of the gains. Not even 50. That's not even 50%, 60%, 70%. And so if we do, and I think we will get to this level of 500. I said, hey guys, in Discord, my goal next year is to do $500,000. I was pretty vague about it. If we can end the year with 500,000, that'll be a great year for sure. But 500,000, and let's say we do 46%, right? 0.46. It's a solid year. It's a solid year, and with being efficient with big size or bigger size is the way to go. It's something that, in order to cross that threshold, must be conquered and must be done. And I think we'll be able to get it done. There's nothing stopping me. I've made great strides towards it, and so we'll continue to push to be better at it. So, yeah, guys. We ended the year with one of our biggest drawdowns. Well, in fact, our biggest drawdown of the year, and this will be third place throughout all of our accounts. Even back when we were in the sim. In the sim, we had a drawdown, I believe, of 6,000, and then we had a drawdown of also 4,000, if I'm not mistaken. But this one is going to be up there. But we're climbing back, slow and steady. We have to reduce size, just kind of come back to what we know work, and once we increase size gradually again, we're going to try our best to stick to it, stick to the foundation, and we're going to try to keep that consistency throughout the entirety of the year. So ladies and gentlemen, for some words of motivation here towards the end of the video, let's continue to be relentless. Let's continue to grind. Let's continue to push forward. Let's continue to be diligent. Let's continue to be disciplined. We are our greatest strength and our greatest weakness. So let's make sure we reflect and understand who we are. Let's make sure we actively put things in place. Let's work on those things that are making us great. Let's work on those things that are making us weak. Let's see what we can't eliminate, what we can't work on and improve on to become better. As we know, practice makes improvement. And so let's continue to practice every day. Let's continue to fight every day. Let's continue to chase our greatness. Greatness is on the horizon, ladies and gentlemen, and there's nothing stopping you and I from improving. So let's continue to improve. Let's continue to be better. And let's continue to win. Here at Relentless Trading, we do not take losses. We take lessons, and we will continue to win every day. Guys, it's been RT. Hit that thumbs up button. If you're a new viewer, consider subscribing to the channel. If you made it to the end, be sure down in the comments below to type 2023. Best year ever. 2023 will be the best year ever. Type it down below. Ladies and gentlemen, traders, it's been Relentless, and I am, of course, signing out.